In this episode of Growing Your Sense of Self Through Self-Defense, we're going to start flying. We've done low cat rolls, the introduction to flying technique. We've done standing or middle-sized cat rolls. Now we're going to do jumping cat rolls. And that's when you begin to fly, at least for a short amount of time, on your own. Here again at Flying Tiger Martial Arts in Garner, North Carolina. And I will be demonstrating this technique on some mats, and when I start to fly over things, I will be using additional mats. So it's very important that you don't go to this step until you've got the other ones muscle memory honed in on low and medium cat rolls. So your technique's right, your arm's not collapsing, you transfer impact when you reach for the ground and start to receive the ground. You don't stiff arm it and jerk this arm, you start to, this is letting you know where the ground is, and then it transfers the energy to your wheel, your strong arm that doesn't collapse, doesn't flatten out, to transfer the energy across from your upper shoulder to your lower hip on the other side, or upper hip on the other side. So get that technique, that you're comfortable with it, that you're confident in it, that you're able to do it on soft surfaces, stay on soft surface. If you want to go to a semi-firmer one, like these blue mats are not, you know, they're soft enough for what we're doing, but I wouldn't begin with these necessarily for a beginner. If you're going to do some higher stuff, start on softer mats or mattresses at least a few times till you see, okay, I can handle this, it's not a big deal. Then you can move up to less forgiving surfaces. As always, when doing falls, be safe. So start easy, even with something a little bit more extreme like a jumping cat roll. So there's two ways of jumping, high and far, or both together. And we're going to do those separately, although the techniques really are largely the same, minor difference. So when you're going to work with jumping cat fall, you can sort of do from your middle, standing cat fall, and just push off a little bit. So there's a little bit of a leap. So you leave the ground with your feet before you reach the ground with your hands. And generally, I talked about when you're doing low cat rolls, you swap back and forth, find whichever one's more comfortable for you. Be able to do them both because you might need either of them. Jumping cat falls or cat rolls, people just tend to have a preference because they're pushing the limit as far as they can go and being sort of ambidextrous and able to do it both sides. People don't really do that. And this isn't so much a practical falling skill in terms of nobody's going to throw you that you roll into a high-flying cat roll. It's a way to push yourself to get more comfortable with your falls, which is an important thing. So that it's less the fall itself and more the benefits that are accrued by being able to fly, the Superman power, and being able to land comfortably, there's confidence in that, and also being comfortable about going down to the ground. So I'm just going to do sort of a beginning jumping cat roll. We're just going to take a sort of walk into it and a little bit of a push to leap. So it just looks like hip, and you end up like you start. So once more, just sort of that simple kind of one. Walk, hip. All right, so now you might notice when I'm doing that I'm not looking where I'm landing, I'm looking out beyond. So if you're going to jump, it's actually easier to jump over things, so you see, all right, where do I got to go? Your focus is beyond what you're going to land on. You don't look for where am I going to hit, but I'm looking out as far as the eye can see. My head's up, I'm going to reach out for where I'm going. Gravity's going to bring me back to Earth. I can't fly indefinitely. And then I look to start to receive the ground, and then wheel out of it. So start with these simple ones, and then when you start to go over something, you do something small. So the first object I'm going to fly over is just this kicking target, and it's maybe the size of a person laying down there, laying flat. That's their width, maybe their height, and I'm just going to practice going over that, going over your partner. So this is low enough that you don't have to do too much, so I'm just going to come at it. You can run at it a little bit and jump over it, right? Try again. Now, you start getting comfortable, you could have that person maybe get up on their knees a little bit, squat you down a little bit so you can do something a little bit higher. But don't push this. This is not a who can go the highest, the farthest, the fastest. This is about safety. So I'm just demonstrating ways you can raise the height, stay safe. At some point, if you don't have a soft enough mat, then wait till you get one so you can practice landing on something safe. You hurt yourself one time, you're not going to want to do them anymore, right? So a little bit higher. I took off too late. So that was a person, I would have kneed him a little bit in the ribs. All right, so you got to take off early enough to give yourself some chance to get up. And clear. All right, I'm going to put in a bigger mat and then do bigger jumps. Now I set up an obstacle, a chair with one of those kicking targets on it to make it a bit of a higher leap, flight. So often you'll work with your partner to go over it. If you don't have a partner, or if you only have the one partner, then people aren't able to analyze what it is that you're doing, right or wrong. You can film yourself and watch it back. So I'm going to try to clear this with a flight, high flight. So high flights tend to be two-footed takeoffs. You want to run at them hard because that gives you the momentum going. You don't have to worry about jumping that way. You're just going to jump up. Your momentum from their running will carry you over. So give myself some runway for my flight. So now I'll do a long one. So notice you have to look up, catch it, transfer energy, roll out. Now I've set up for a long cat roll using a few mats, the width of the mats, stack them up to give it a little bit of height. When you do long cat rolls, if you use a constant height, when you're approaching this and jumping, you don't necessarily see where it ends. So you like to have something that sort of sticks out a little bit so you see what you got to clear over. In demonstrations, a lot of times you'll see people like hunch down on the ground to jump over. The first guy tends to be a little bit lower to give you a little bit more clearance. The last guy tends to be a little bit higher so you can see what the destination is. So using something soft, in case I don't clear it, I'm less likely to get hurt. I'm using my big mat. Again, it's about safety. In case I don't land well, or I crash and fall into it, I don't land at all. So this is going to be a long cat roll. Long cat rolls tend to be a single takeoff, like a long jump in Olympics, one-footed takeoff. Highs tend to be you run up and push with two to elevate. Long ones you want to go at like 45-degree angle. So come in hard, be looking for a 45-degree angle, and you maximize the distance that you'll get. Again, you're looking out and then coming under. I removed these mats while I'm making a table out of them, but they also slow you down when you're running. So if you can run on something with a firmer surface, you get more speed. Long cat roll. That's Superman flying. For a little bit of time, but it's flying. And you have this sense of it, of capability in you that maybe you didn't know you had. So, nice thing to practice on. Very, very important to be safe in doing this. It's a big fall. So, nice padding. Work it at a low level so you develop muscle memory. You can transfer the power, or the impact. Get it into your wheel and roll it across the back. It protects the vital organs, protects your arm, your shoulder, your elbow, wrist. So I've not gotten hurt doing cat rolls, but I mean, I've seen some people who pushed their limits before they were ready. So just make sure you have the fundamentals before you go on. So this is a cool one. Not so practical for falling. You tend not to fall like that or not thrown like that. But it's got a lot of other values. So it's a good one to do. Till next time, kamsahamnida. Toodles. Hit! Hit! Sashay!